is when I teach self-defense, I'm trying my best to empower you. By the time you get through with this class, you feel more powerful, more confident, you can address these situations. We do it in 3 ways. One is situation awareness. Situation awareness is being aware of the environment around you, paying attention to people, paying attention to where you're at, whether you're walking to your car, walking to on the sidewalk or trail or anything like that, being aware of it. And through situation awareness, you have 3 steps. Being aware from a long distance, a medium, moderate distance, and close distance. That long distance is your instincts. Pay attention to your instincts, listen to them, be mindful of them, and do something to prepare yourself. Grab your keys, hold them like you would, like a knife, grab a pen, grab a cell phone, get on the phone or something, pay attention and act. Build something to do, something to build and boost your confidence. When they're 6 feet away, 8 feet away, establish a boundary. Either verbally, vocally, saying stop, who are you, calling somebody out by some random name, eliminate the element of surprise, or be subtle and change your direction. Move across the street, change your path, do something, and see if they follow you. Either they violate your verbal boundary, they disrespect you and dishonor you, or they follow you and you know you were right about your instincts and stuff. You know their intention. So your next is to get ready for the close contact. Close contact is stepping away, showing them only one side, one leg, one arm, your head, and make sure they can't reach for you. Powerful side is in the back, weak, small side is in front. This is to keep distance. Force and to have impact on your attacks, like physics. Force equals mass times acceleration. Your mass and acceleration goes forward to have a forceful impact. You strike at vulnerable spots. Neck, eyes, ears, throat, mouth, knees, joints, hips, the sides, elbows. Things that are vulnerable is where you want to strike at, and never give them a chance to get a good strike. Review some close contact situation. Somebody grabs your wrist, grabs your hand, spreading your fingers out, creating space. Being confident and being emboldened to understand that, hey, if I grab her, she knows that I don't have her hand, but she has mine. Getting out of it, spreading your fingers, pulling, stepping back and moving out. Making large circles, chopping at their wrist. Chopping, go back, step back. There you go. We're chopping the other way, or dancing. Grabbing them back, pulling them off balance, and stepping through them and behind. Or stepping through them around the other way and pulling them down. Somebody grabs you with their hand, simply walking away, going under my hand, and walking away. Going under, go under again, take your hand up, and brush it off. Or striking at their throat, stepping back and striking at their throat, or their chest or anything. And like she was trying to do earlier, kind of taking my arm off, making a fist, striking at the elbow, and pulling that hand off, and twisting the neck. That almost like teapot. Okay? Those are the situations that we reviewed last time. Oh, wait, okay. Careful. So carrying the hand, stepping back, turning around, stepping forward, step forward, and turn around and heel. Grabbing from behind, secure the hand, turn around, and pull your head up. Keep it on your head, keep it on the hand, and then secure, pull it up. Alright? And now we're going to do some new stuff, new material. Another way of being aware of situation and distance defense. Another way of keeping people away from you when they're coming at you is an old Asian practice of Tai Chi push hands. This is something you do with a partner just to get used to it. It's to understand and gauge people's energy. Nobody's going to know if somebody's coming at you to grab you or somebody's coming at you to strike you. You cannot tell. You don't know, unless you see the fist coming or something coming, or somebody coming to grab you. As I said earlier in the last class, is to be aware of the person's back. Be mindful of where their back is. In Tai Chi push hand, both of you, say someone you trust, both of your right leg, your right leg is in front, their right leg is in front. Your wrist and their wrist touch. I'm going to push, she's going to receive, pull. She's going to push, and I'm going to pull. And you just move back and forth to get used to each other's energy, moving around. And then I'm going to show you some self-defense applications of this. The reason this is important is, say, if I reach for her, she can move this out of the way. If I try to punch at her, she can deflect it out of the way. Be aware of the person's back, because when you deflect, say she decides to deflect this way, I'm in front of her, and I can do other things. So be aware of the person's back when you deflect something out of the way, then she can start doing all kinds of stuff. Okay? One sort of self-defense of doing this pushing. One technique is that, say they push, they go forward. At a certain point, they cannot push so far, they'll stop. Be mindful of that energy, grab them, step back, and redirect them. What she's going to do, you can come over here. As I reach for her, she can grab me, deflect it out of the way, grab, and push even further. If I try to go back for her, deflects it, grabs, pushes out of the way. Okay? That's one simple, nice way of saying, don't come near me. If I go for her, she deflects it, moves it. If you're really good, if you're aware of your situation around you, say there's a tree or a column, say there's a tree over here. As she redirects me, she can aim me for that tree. Another one. As we're doing this, as we're moving back and forth, push, pull. Okay? As we're doing this back and forth, at a certain point, you have to understand that there's arm can go so far. Your leg can go further. So if somebody comes at you, tries to reach for you, your leg can always reach further to kick them. Your front leg, your front leg. So if I try to punch, kick with your front leg. So if somebody tries to reach for you or punch at you, you're kicking with the front leg. Back leg even fine, but that takes you a little more momentum. One kick is not going to be enough, so you can do other strikes as well. So as long as my arm is so far extended, or even if it's close, as long as this is open, she can strike it. So if I'm going for her or anything, she can move and deflect. Okay? That's another one. The third one, no, we're going to do this again. For the next one. As that says, you are being mindful of the person's back, be aware of where they are. As she extends all the way out, I'm going to step through it towards her back, and I can strike through. Or the head goes across the arm and moves back. Being aware of the front of her back, where it is. I cannot do this way, because she's had the other hand and she's not senseless. So she's going to practice this now. Yeah? You're going to step behind with your other leg, and then take your elbow and drive it right through. So if I'm going towards her, she moves back. Not that. When you step, you're going to step closer to them and put your arm under or over them. Say she's punching. A punch is right. I deflect it out of the way. Hand goes through and over, or hand goes through and under. So if I go at her over, and you're going to go extend your arm across. Or under, through the ribs. The next thing, say, I've had this question asked, what if they grab you with both their hands around you? Like they reach up behind you and grab with both hands, okay? When they do this, understand that they have very little strength and keep maintaining this lock. Why? Because all you gotta do is step out to the side, sit down like you're sitting on a chair, and bring your arms up. It's very weak. It doesn't matter how big and heavy they are. If I grab her as tightly as I can, all she has to do is step to the side and raise her hands. Okay? But while you're doing this, while you're stepping to the side and lowering yourself, grab them. Never give up a chance to do good strikes, as in knocking them on the back of the head, elbowing them to the side. So if I grab her, don't give up the chance to take your head and swing backward. Step around and elbow. Take your elbow and drive it in. I have students who love giving good strikes, and they happen to be women. Okay, don't underestimate. Okay, getting out of that situation is a little simple. You can also put your leg behind them as you come up to make them fall. Taking people down. One thing I want you to, another situation that's coming to my attention, somebody's asked is, what if you're on the ground and they're standing over you? Okay, what if I'm on the ground and they're standing over me? Okay. Anyone roll their ankle? Have you ever walked around and just rolled your ankle? Almost that can hurt sometimes. How to make another person roll their ankle? If you're down and they're standing over you, how to make them roll their ankle? Grabbing their foot, securing their leg, putting their hand on their leg, and twisting the ankle. Okay? Secure their foot, move, and pull. Another thing, when you're down, their knee is your target. As they're over you, you can be on your side protecting yourself, but they cannot protect their legs. Okay, their knee is your target. What I mean by securing their foot and striking at the knee. Putting your foot behind their leg, pulling their knee down. Securing your foot, taking your hand behind their knee, and twisting. Or twisting it the other way. So if I'm standing over her, she's sitting down. Or she's down or whatever she is in the low position. My foot is down, so she can make my ankle roll. And I mean by rolling my ankle is simply taking this and pushing my ankle over. So don't move your hand, this hand stays. Only thing that hand moves is this hand pushes. Don't move this hand. You don't need to grab this. This one just needs to push. There you go. Rolling, making them roll their ankle as quickly and painfully as possible. The next is laying on your sides, getting on your side, and the advantage of being on the side is that I cannot reach. She's further away. I cannot reach. I have to extend myself to reach. By doing that, I make this vulnerable. She can take her knee, her foot, and heel and strike at that knee. So if I reach for her, she can take her foot, not her toe, not the toe. Use the heel of your foot, goes at the knee. Striking the front of it or at the side of it. Okay? Or she takes the heel of her foot, goes behind, pulls it down. Okay? Or you use your hand. If you're down, reaching over and pushing the hand, knee. One hand down, ground, and twisting the other knee. Okay? Those are the knee takedowns and putting to get over it, making them go down. Okay? Any questions? Nope? No questions? You sure? You got everything down? You understand everything that I've done? Everything I've explained? You sure? Good. Don't be nice when you're defending yourself, okay? I want you to feel empowered you can handle these situations and be a little more confident. Try the nice way at first and then be aggressive. I was asked a great question. She asked me a great question and put me in a nice situation. You're walking, you're minding your own business, somebody comes up to you behind and grabs and secures your hand. One thing I want you to be aware of, by doing this, they have cut the distance off. Okay, their head is right behind me. I just pay mindful where their head is, lean down a little, and wind myself up to strike at their head. An easy strike, okay? Keep doing it. Never give up a chance to give a good strike. By cutting the distance off, their knee is also vulnerable. I pick my leg up, I aim for their knee. Or aim, if I'm wearing heels, if somebody's wearing heels, I can aim for their ankle and foot. Okay? Or I can just bring my leg. You know what I mean? Either direction. If say they don't fall for all these strikes in ring, fine. They're your cushion. What I mean by cushion is you take your foot, try to lock there behind their leg, and lean and fall back. Okay, you want to fall back with as much force as possible. When you fall back with as much force, use them as a cushion and let their head bounce on the floor. They will likely let go. So if I grab her, she can do all the kind of striking that she wants. Back of the head, knees, foot. She can drive her legs straight up between my legs and do all kinds of, or lean back and make me fall. Okay? It was a great question. Thank you. Other situation. A lot of people have asked, what about, I usually do this during my 4th or 5th, I do a 6-week workshop. This class needs to go on for 6 weeks and build to all these things. I don't bring a lot of information at y'all, but around the 4th or 5th week, we start getting to a little more, after I've earned your respect, after I've earned you confidence in this, pushing a little bit more compromising situation. One is, you're pinned against the wall. You're pinned against the column. You're pinned against your car. You're pinned against the couch. You're pinned against the wall. What do you do in a situation like that? It's similar to them putting their hands on your shoulder. It's similar to them grabbing you and choking you. It's similar, you can do all those other techniques that I showed you earlier. But one technique I want you to understand is how to get out of that environment, that situation. You cannot push them away. If you push them, try to aggressively push them, strikes are great, they work, they come back. Pushing them in a linear fashion is just going to get them to come back. It's like a can of a lid when you're twisting, you want to twist out of the situation. What I mean by put your foot and use that as your leverage, that object, the column, the tree, the wall, whatever, and push off with it. When you push off, you're not pushing straight, you're trying to push your hip out of this situation. If your right leg is up against the wall, you want to push your hip to the right. When you push yourself out of the situation, you want to twist them away. You want to push them in the opposite direction. Okay, if I twist to the right, I want them to go to the left and twist them, and I push them away. What I mean is, he's pinned me aggressively against the wall. I put my foot down, I grab, I twist, and push away to get out of the situation. So if she's pinned against the wall, or against the column or anything, I hold her down. She pushes her hip out of the way. No, don't just push me. Put your hip leg against the wall. What you're trying to do is take your hip, push it, your hip sideways. Okay? You're trying to turn your body. At the same time, you're turning their body. Grab me. His hand pulls, the other hand pushes, twisting away. Twisting out of the way. Or with the head. Jaw in the face, grab the back of the head, twisting. You're not twisting my head, huh? This is your chance to hit me. Okay? Maybe twist away. As you push that away. Okay? That's one of the techniques you can do with getting out of the situation. Another question's been raised. Say somebody grabs your hand and pins your hand over the head. your hands. The leg, pushing the hip. My hands are still occupied by trying to hold her up, okay? Other hand, if she moves her hip and pushes, it's still the same twist. Okay? Say if you don't have somebody to work out with, that's fine. There's an exercise you can do on the ground on your own. Get against the wall. Lay down. Put your feet against the wall. Take your foot. Push with your heel down and move your hip sideways to get out of the situation. Put your foot down. Push with your heel and move your hip in that direction to get out of the situation, out of the way. Now, push and twist. As you can see, I'm moving away from the wall. Practice this. It's the same thing that you would do against the wall. Push, lift, get out of the way. Okay? Hope that helps. Hope you all have a little more understanding of those situations. We will recap and review all these things again for the next class. Welcome. A question was raised, what is the best way to strike? What are parts of your hands and your feet and elbows and stuff? How do you strike without getting hurt? You don't want to hit something and end up hurting yourself. Okay, so there are certain things you do, and certain mechanics of strikes that I want hopefully y'all can be aware of. When you punch someone, when you make a fist and punch someone, don't wrap your thumb. Wrapping your thumb and hitting someone will end up hurting, damaging your thumb. Keep your thumb on the outside. Okay, keep it under your fingers to protect your thumb. When you strike with the fist, it's the only thing that should hit anything is the first two knuckles. The first two knuckles are your strongest knuckles, while your last two knuckles are fragile and weak. You can get them hurt really easy, while these two knuckles are strong. And when you punch, you aim with those first two knuckles. Same thing if you're using the back of your fist, and hitting with the back and striking them back, is use those two lead knuckles to hit someone. When you chop with someone, when you're chopping someone, yes, there's a lot of martial arts that teach you to do front chop and use the front of your hand, but the stronger part is the back of your hand. The edge of your hand is like a knife, making your fingers to your knife and using this to chop at someone. You can use the front, but this is much stronger. The palm of your hand is probably your strongest and most safest bet to strike with. It is connected to the entire arm. You're hitting and striking with the entire arm if you use the palm of your hand, because it is a linear, it is straight going forward. Okay, whether it's to the jaw or to the nose, the palm of your hand is reinforced by the whole arm. Unlike the fist, which is reinforced just by the hand. When you make a fist and strike with the fist, make sure your fist knuckles are aligned with your forearm. Don't bend them upward or lower to keep them straight. That is the mechanics of the punch and strikes and the palm strikes. If you want to hit somebody with the elbow, they're so close to you, you can't really punch them or anything. You want to hit somebody with the elbow, make sure your fist, the fingers of your hand is pointed towards them. That way your elbow is striking with the entire arm. If your fist is this way, your arm will weaken and so will the elbow strike. Make the fist, like the whole of your, wrap your fingers around this arm and strike through with your elbow. If you want to use your elbow. Like I said, this is make it weaken and you will loosen your power. Your feet. Your knee is your close contact striking weapon. Okay? Your knee, whether you're driving it between someone's legs or you're driving them towards their faces and pulling them down and driving them forward or pushing them off of you, your knee is your strongest thing to strike with. Okay? It is also your shield. It can also protect you if you keep your leg up. Your whole arm and leg becomes your protection. Same as when you're blocking, your whole arm is your blocking. Kicking. There's a lot of style, a lot of arguments out there as to what part of your feet and things you kick with. If you're kicking forward, if you're striking forward, unless you're wearing steel-toe shoes, don't lead with your toes. Okay, if you lead with your toes, it's going to hurt your toes. pull your toes back and use the ball of your foot, the instep of your foot, to strike out with the front if you're striking forward. Even better is use the heel. Your heel is stronger, just like the palm of your hand is stronger. And use your heel to hit and strike out with the heel of your foot if you're doing forward. Okay? If you're doing sideways, if you're standing sideways from somebody and you're kicking side to the side of it, you want to use two things: the edge of your foot, or the heel of your foot. Just like your hand, the edge of your hand as your knife when you're chopping, or the heel, the palm of your hand when you're striking. Same thing with side kick. It's the edge of your foot or the heel of your foot. If you're wandering around and trying to throw you around, don't lead with the toes, okay? Lead with the instep of your foot, like though you're hitting them with a club. Okay, this whole part of your hand, your foot, is what goes through and strikes at them. Okay, those are the ways you strike with people, or strike with somebody. Either two knuckles, palm of your hand, edge of your hand, elbow with the fist pointed towards them to go through, the ball of your foot, heel of your foot, edge of your foot, or the heel, or the instep of your foot. Those are the physical strikes. And your knee, just like your elbow, your knee is your striking thing as well. And again, you're striking at vulnerable targets. If you want them to go down and stay down, you strike at the knee. If you want them to say uncle, cry uncle, give up, you strike at their wrist, elbow joints. If you really want to cause damage to them, you strike at the throat, eyes, ears, vulnerable soft areas, or the sides. You do empowerment and self-defense is a mindset. When you establish a boundary and say, stop, who are you? Stay away from me, or you change direction, and they disrespect that, they're intending harm. It is up to you to defend yourself, to protect yourself, and use the information as your arsenal. Okay? If the nice ways of simply pulling your hand doesn't work, if taking control of yourself and pulling your hand or walking away doesn't work, then you have to use the aggressive techniques of turning your hand around and chopping their wrist, turning them around, chopping their thumb, taking their hand and prying it off of you, not just pulling it off of you. It's using every opportunity to get a good strike in. It's a mindset. Don't think that they've got you, but you have control of them. And I hope that helps you feel a little more confident addressing some of these situations. And if you have other situations you want me to address, please point them out. I'll be happy to help address them. Okay, we're going to go over a little thing of falling. At the part of being held behind the back, being pinned against something, those techniques are the same techniques you can use on the floor. If you're pinned on the floor, put on the ground. Before getting to the ground, and before being put on the ground, or being endangered in that kind of situations, to learn how to fall properly, or get out of that fall. And I teach this to all kinds of kids, and when they do self-defense techniques and self-defense drills, falling properly is important in self-defense. When you fall backward, is to use that momentum to roll backward. In martial arts and self-defense, you don't fall at the fall to hit the ground and stay on the ground. You fall and you don't think of it as falling, but as rolling. If somebody pushes you and you fall, use that push as a momentum to get back up. Say she's coming and pushes me. No, you can say that. Say somebody comes up and pushes me and I fall back. If somebody comes and pushes and I cannot control it and move them away or redirect them or strike them and I lose my momentum and I fall, I want to not just fall and lay there. I don't want to just fall and stay down on the ground. The idea of being pushed and falling, I want to roll and get back up. I tuck one leg in, roll back, and push myself back up. If somebody pushes you, yes, there's no mat any more than there's a mat out there. But if somebody pushes you, you would lose your momentum. Fine, roll with it. Same thing if there's somebody pushes you from behind. If somebody pushes you from behind, you lose your momentum and you fall forward. Tuck your shoulder in and roll on your shoulder, on your back, and get back up. Okay? And you can have your kids do this too. They're real little, down on their knees, back in, and roll. If somebody pushes you, you don't want to stay pinned to the ground. You want to be able to roll. Tuck your shoulder in, roll, and get back up. Don't stay on the ground. Okay? Same thing as if you're pinned, if you're pushed against the wall. You want to roll out of the situation. Okay? We will do some more of these kind of techniques next week as we work on reviewing all this and building from it. Part of the way that I do my programming, part of the way I teach both the situation awareness, distance defense, and close contact defense is informal. I'm giving you all of my 3 decades of knowledge in all the styles of martial arts and all the ranks that I've earned and putting in real life situations. I'm not here to teach you step 1, step 2, step 3, memorize 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm not here to do that. I'm here to help you understand the mechanics of martial arts. If you can understand the mechanics and the practice, the applications and the things about martial arts, it won't really matter. As long as you feel confident and you feel assured, okay, I have all this information, I want to use it. Okay? When you're sitting at your desk in your office or your home and you're going to that car, prepare yourself, have that knowledge of these things, and then move about your business and going about. Like, okay, you know, somebody grabs you because you think, I have their hand, I can do whatever I want with it, damaging them or getting it out. If somebody puts their hands on me, I know I can take it off, I can do other things, I can twist their head, I can get out of the situation. I want you to understand the mechanics of it. If I strike at somebody, I know what parts of my hand to use, or what parts of my feet or legs to use, and where to hit and where to strike. Okay? And when it comes to falling techniques or drilling techniques or hand pulling, as long as you understand the mechanics of the things, wonderful. And you could be able to use them and apply them in the situation. I don't want you to memorize, okay? I don't want you to get to the fear of saying, okay, what do I do? Which one do I use? Which technique do I do? Understand the mechanics and apply and use those things. One thing that I've learned from all the teachers and all the grandmasters I've trained with, even police departments, sheriff's departments, military that I've worked with, nobody can teach you how to handle the fright and flight. No grandmaster can teach you how to handle this situation. Can help you have the aggression or the subtlety, the mindset when you're there. When you're there, you had to deal with that situation. I just want you to have the information and resources to be confident about when we deal with it. Okay? Look forward to seeing you again next week.